All right, here we are again. Let's just adjust the camera. Let's just adjust the camera. I have some wonderful props today. I've been noticing that it's hard to get my outside of my eyes flat, or even close to being flat. So I decided that I would use this blanket to try to raise my hips a little bit above my knees. I know that that's a recommendation for if you're especially tight or if you have longer legs like I do. So I'm just going to roll up the towel nice and tight there, as tight as possible. A blanket would do just fine as well. And we'll get started in a sitting position. If you have a fuzzy friend that you'd like to bring along, please gather your fuzzy friend. Now I want to start. I have brought a few books that have been really inspiring me lately, and so I wanted to share some of that. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about balance. Balance plays a role in our lives in many ways. First and foremost, I think of balance as that kind of feeling when you're off. We often experience it without realizing we're experiencing a feeling of imbalance. But I think a lot of times that's what, when people say, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, what they're really saying is that they feel imbalanced. And of course, probably the most visible form of balance in our everyday life is the physical. So if you're walking down the stairs and you lose your footing and you wobble a little bit, or if when you're a kid, if you're jumping, hopscotch is a great example. When you land on one foot in the single squares, if your weight is pushed to either side, then you tend to tumble that way. Conversely, if you're jumping to the two squares where you have one foot on both, you feel more balanced and you feel more even. So, as I was thinking about this sense of balance this week, I was revisiting the yamas and niyamas, and I wanted to read this section. It comes from page 12 and 13 from Deborah Adele's The Yamas and Niyamas. Being human is a complicated thing. We live within a myriad of confusing choices and contradictions. As human beings living among other life forms, we need to navigate our own personal needs within those of the community. As spirit hanging out in a human body, we need to live within the potential of our limitless dreams and our limited physical reality. In the midst of our indecision and confusion, these guidelines are like helping hands moving us deeper into our own authenticity and into a life that's richer and fuller than we could ever imagine, simply because we are living with more skill and awareness. This may sound easy, but it's not. How do we gain mastery over our choices when life seems to toss us around with its ups and downs, many demands, and many voices telling us what we need and what is wrong with us? How do we gain skill when we find ourselves continuing to do what we promised ourselves we would never do again? How do we gain skill when we just screamed at our child or our partner and now feel lousy? How do we gain skill when we feel stuck in a dead-end job that is sucking us dry? How do we gain skill when we just dug into the chocolate and now are beating ourselves up with messages of self-loathing? I mean, how often has that happened to you? I mean, I can especially relate to the chocolate. When I am feeling down or anxious, I tend to go for chocolate and peanut butter. And if you have a share size of peanut butter M&Ms around, that's it. I'm going for the whole bag. And then, of course, that just exacerbates your feeling of being imbalanced. And then you physically, from a digestive point of view, become imbalanced because you've eaten something that's unhealthy and outweighs the healthy food you might have eaten before that. Then, of course, this leads us into non-excess, right? This idea that we have to be smart and we have to temper our sort of, not only our excesses, but the way that we approach others. In terms of taking up someone's time, we want to be balanced in how much of our time we're giving and how much time we're taking. All of these things have really been sticking with me this week. And I think part of it is because, we're in the aftermath of the election and there's a lot of tension right now about how is this transition into a new president going to go? What does it mean for those of us that have been trying to do um, social justice and other activist work in political spaces like museums and classrooms? I mean, this is a very interesting time. There was that initial sigh of relief when the country voted mostly blue, not all, but now we have to put that skill into action, just like Deborah Adele is talking about. And we have to do it with compassion, care, and of course, balance. So today, we're going to begin standing. As you see, I'm pretty bundled up. I'm going to put my blanket off to the side, take off my socks so I can feel nice and grounded. It's okay now. You could stay there. You could be in the video. Stay. Just going to adjust this so you can get a better look at Nellie there. And my head is cut off. I'm decapitated. But it's more important that you see my body. So let's do... That should be perfect. Okay. Let's get set here. So if you don't already have an intention that you'd like to bring to the practice today, I would very much encourage you to join me in utilizing this intention of finding balance in our physical practice, our philosophical practice, and also the way that we interact with our community. Okay. So let's just begin in mountain. Nice and firm in the feet. Bring those toes into the mat. Feel the squishiness. And then just begin to rock back and forth very easily. And notice when you are putting your weight forward, how far can you go before you start to feel a little imbalanced? And in the same token, how does it feel when you go back? How far can you go onto the heels without feeling like you're going to collapse backwards? Now, how does that feeling change when you try to ground the shoulder blades, when you try to bring them together in the back? See this flex? You can do this to kind of just get that feeling. When you're bringing the shoulder blades to almost touch in the back, opening up the front of the chest, the heart straight to the skies, and the arms out to the side engaged, palms facing forward, how mine are facing the screen, yours facing outwards. And how does that change your sense of balance and comfort? So also, too, you want to make sure your core is engaged. And also lift up slightly through the thighs. So when you do that, how does that change, if at all, those feelings of security and insecurity that you felt when you were rocking forward, rocking back? And as you rock, try to keep your spine as straight as possible. It can be very tempting here to sort of, come forward like this as we rock, but try to just stay as nice and vertical as possible. Crown of the head pointing straight to the skies. And now let's try to come up onto our toes and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale, exhale down. Let's come back on our heels and try to hold for 5, 4, 3. Oh, it's okay. See there, I just got a little bit too carried away with myself. So if you're feeling like you're going to fall back, just try to play with the way that your spine is communicating with the rest of your body. So if you feel like you're going to go backwards, maybe then do bring the spine a little bit forward or a little bit back. See what it takes to maintain that lift in the front of the feet and that reliance on the heels. And inhale. Big exhale. Feet flat. All right. Let's shake it out a little bit. Rotate that ankle. Rotate the other ankle. And here, still in mountain. Let's shift our weight to our left foot. Slowly bring the right heel up. And with an inhale, bring that right knee up, keeping the spine straight, keeping the left thigh engaged, hands out, shoulders back, chest open. And a big inhale. Exhale. And now let's try to bring the foot to the side, open it up. If you feel more comfortable positioning the foot on the calf like this, just baby tree pose, that's perfectly okay. If that's what feels good today, it might feel good tomorrow. Maybe something else will feel even better. But the key is not where you put your foot as much as that you're grounding down through the left foot, trying to find balance. So if you feel more comfortable balancing here, by all means, take that position. Maybe you feel a little bit more comfortable with your foot on the inside of your knee. And if you're really feeling a little bit loose today, you can bring the foot up into the thigh like so. I'm not quite there yet to hold that without my hand for support. So it's perfectly fine if you're not as well. Maybe we'll get there and maybe we won't. Again, we're here for the journey. Okay, when you feel steady, it's okay if you need to reset there. Deep breaths in until you feel nice and sturdy. Opening up that right hip so that your right knee parallel to the floor, as open as you can get that right thigh. And let's inhale. Arms up. When your arms are up in prayer pose, touching, reaching for the skies, does that make you feel a little bit sturdier, a little bit less sturdy? What is that? Exhale down. Hands at the heart. And let's stay for 3, 2, 1. And exhale the foot down. All right, excellent. So we're going to keep building on this. We're going to switch, and then we're going to build to the other side. If it's starting to shake a little bit, feeling a little bit of heat, feel free to remove the extra outerwear. Adjust yourself, get your pants together, get your shirt together, play with those sleeves. And let's now shift our weight to the right foot, slowly lifting the left knee. Again, nice and sturdy. Let's try to flex the left foot. See how here it's drooping? Let's try to get it as parallel to the floor as possible. Knee extended out, engaging this section of the core to help you stand nice and steady, trying to find that balance. Remember, balance is something that we have to think about the whole body. It's not necessarily just the one foot balancing, or even when we're standing on 2 feet, it's not necessarily the balance is only here, right? Think about how you feel when your inner ear is affected or when you have a headache, right? Your whole body needs to be in line to feel balanced. So let's try to bring our cores in, try to touch our back of our spines, up our belly buttons, and whatever version of tree pose feels comfortable. Slowly try to open up that left hip as much as you can. It's okay if you need to bring the left foot down and reset at any point. Feel free to do that. There is absolutely no judgment here. We are just excited to be together. And that's all we can ask for. And let's inhale the arms up, hands meet in prayer over the top of the head, reaching straight to the skies. How does it feel if you bring the eyes up towards the hands? Does that impact your balance? And what if you closed your eyes? It's a little scary, huh? It's amazing how much our sight lends itself to our balance that we never quite think about. Exhale, hands down to prayer at the chest. Inhale, and exhale that left foot down. Meeting in mountain pose. Okay, so let's build on that a little bit. Now, facing the front of the mat, let's ground our feet again. Let's bring that right leg up just like we did before. And this time, let's kick the right foot back, bringing the arms forward into whatever version of Warrior 3 feels comfortable. If you tighten, if you just flex that left quad, that left thigh, even the calf, even the ankle and the Achilles heel, it's going to give you a sense of balance that will feel a little less scary. Let's hold here for 3, 2, 1. And then how soft can you just lower that back foot, that back right foot for a 45-degree angle, inhaling up into Warrior 1. Maybe you just need to bring this front foot out a little bit more and sink a little bit deeper. Arms to the sky, holding that precious gift of life in your hands, that precious, beautiful gift that we're sharing together right now. Stack that left knee over left ankle. This is our first one of the day, so it doesn't have to be too deep. Just find whatever feels comfortable. And inhale, exhale into Warrior 2. Forming a line from fingertips across the shoulder into the other arm, down to those fingertips. Inhale back, Peaceful Warrior. Keeping that left leg bent just as it was. How far can you reach down on that back leg? Maybe you're just here. That's perfectly fine. Maybe you want to wrap the arm around your sacrum so that your right hand comes to your left hip. Or maybe you're just on the back of the knee. Reach over that left ear. And exhale the arms down. Coming into a nice low lunge. Inhale the arms up. Go as low as you can. If you're only in a high lunge right now, that's perfectly fine. There's no reason to go too deep. If you're feeling a little bit tight or you're struggling a little bit today, we've all been there and we'll all be there again. And then exhale the arms down. Plant the palms so you feel nice and secure. And softly step that left foot back into plank. Ease forward. Slight, very, very minimal bend in the elbows. Inhale and exhale down. Move the dirty strange sock if it's on your mat there. Inhale into baby cobra. Nice and easy. Just feeling that lift in the back. Chest open. And exhale, forehead down. Take a second here to inhale one more time. And exhale one more time, this time into our first downward dog of the day. Hello, downward dog. I missed you. Did you miss yours? And you can push back, really start to feel that stretch in the back of the legs, the glutes, the hamstrings, the back as you ground through the fingertips and push towards the back of the room. Paddle it out a little bit. Feel an extra stretch in the calves. Just take a second here to breathe. Let's take 3 breaths here. Inhale in. And exhale. Inhale in. Exhale. And this time when we exhale, let's do it through the mouth, lion's breath. All right, let's let it all come out. Anything that's making us feel imbalanced, let's just push it straight out into the ether. Whew. All right. Let's inhale that right leg up and bring it through. Let's push through the fingertips. Try to get that back heel, that right heel, touch the right glute. And inhale. Right leg through. Touching the left elbow. Inhale up. Exhale. That right knee to right elbow. Inhale, right leg up. And let's bring it through. Okay. So now, here, let's go for a nice high lunge. Or, like before, if you're feeling comfortable, you can sink down into a low lunge, keeping your chest open, keeping your shoulders engaged, keeping your forearms and your shoulders. All right, I think I already said shoulders, but hey, it's worth repeating. Holding that nice, precious gift of life in your hands. And let's come forward, bringing that back knee to the floor. Let's just take a minute here and stretch it out. So lengthening that front leg. Let's exhale. Going as deep as you can. Letting that forehead fall to the knee if necessary, or if possible. Inhaling, come forward, bending that front leg, so knee stacked over ankle. Opening up the chest. Coming up to the fingertips if you need to. Deep breath in. And letting it out. Okay. So let's rock back and forth. Let's do it one more time. Follow the breath. And inhale. This time when you come up, let's keep that back foot flat. Let's rise up, bringing the palms to the top of the right thigh. And here, to create that sense of balance, it's really important that we create this sort of scissoring effect here between the thighs. So it's not enough to just be stacked with right knee over right ankle and right leg, shin, and foot flat on the floor. We also want to draw the energy together so that we are strong in our pose here and we are ready to face whatever the day is going to bring us and whatever our bodies are going to bring us during this practice. Inhale in and exhale, twist, bringing that left elbow to right knee. You can bring that right arm around the back for a nice bind. If you can reach your top of your left thigh, by all means do that. But let's see if we can lift the left foot. And if we can use our thighs to create a sense of balance that's strong enough where we can reach behind Bringing the left hand down, straight spine. Inhale in, try to grab that back big toe. And every time you exhale, sink a little bit deeper into the pose. Tendency here might be for this, keep the pose, hold the pose. Tendency might be here to sort of have your right foot rock onto its outer arch, but try to keep that foot planted and the knee as straight as possible as you do this. Again, left arm straight down, fingertips on the mat, finding that balance with the legs. And easing in to that beautiful deep stretch, looking over your right shoulder, looking up at the ceiling and the wall behind you. And exhale, slowly bringing that left foot to the floor. Inhale, come forward, lifting the chest. And let's exhale into tabletop. All right. So, bringing the right foot flat on the top of the mat, just like the left one was. Knees straight down. You have your hands ground. I like to do this to really get every inch of my fingertips on the mat there and build that strength, that tapas, that heat straight through like a lightning bolt through my wrist to my shoulder. Empower yourself to do that. And shoulders stacked over elbows. Elbows bent ever so slightly. And strong wrists. Let's go. We're going to do 5 cat-cows here. But do them at your own pace. Follow your breath. No rush. Take your time. Inhale, cow. Engage the core here. Keep the feet nicely planted on top of the mat. And exhale. Trying to get your shoulders and your back to pop through the ceiling. You want to push from the mat as best as you can. And hold for 1, 2, 3. And finding your own pace. I like to close my eyes when I do these and just feel where my body is taking me. I think one of my favorite things about yoga is that it's unpredictable. Every time I think a pose is going to be a certain level of difficulty, like, oh yeah, that cat-cow, it's going to be so easy today. But then I actually do it, and for whatever reason, my body tells me something completely different. It forces me to adapt. It forces me to find a place where I can let go of and surrender to the forces that are around me. And only then will I find contentment. And contentment, I truly believe, is the pathway to balance. Okay, so take 1 or 2 more, and let's meet in a flat back position. Nice tabletop. Again, still grounding to the top of the feet, knees firmly planted, palms on the mat, fingertips grinding in. And let's try to balance. Let's put a little bit more weight. We can even bring the left hand a little bit to the center underneath us. So as before, it was basically underneath the left shoulder. We can bring it a little bit more towards the center. And inhale. Let's bring that left foot out, right hand forward. And exhale it like you're saying, yes. So again, you're going to try to use that heel. Try to touch the back
glute, and tighten the core, knee to elbow. Try to maintain that flat back as best you can, balancing, using the core here to unite the left hand and the right leg to unite that sense of balance and sturdiness. And exhale in one more time. That same cat-cow feeling, same cat feeling, where our shoulders are reaching through the back body up to the skies. That's the same feeling you want here when you come in. And inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. One more. Exhale, one more. Inhale in. And exhale. Okay. Whew. Back to a flat back. Let's take a minute here. We can push back, spread the knees, push back into child's pose. Bring the arms out as far as they go. Feel that stretch in your back. Let the forehead softly kiss the mat. And I've told you this before, I love the rocking back and forth of the head, that beautiful self-massage. Who knew that we were in such control of things like how we massage our head? I don't know. I'm reflecting that. Is control the best word to use there? Agency. Agency is not control. Agency is power. Agency is beautiful engagement. That's a better way to put it. We have a sense of beautiful engagement in how we rub our forehead, how we massage it, how we give our cheetah mind a break. Inhale up, back to all fours. And exhale, let's bring the toes under, curl them, and exhale, hips all the way up, come to tiptoes, and then falling back into place to downward dog. We can pedal it out here. Maybe the heels touch the back of the mat. Maybe they don't. Maybe they never do. What journey are you on? And if your heels are not touching the back of the mat, what are they doing? How far are they hovering? What can you do to try to bring them into a more comfortable position? And most importantly, how is your sense of balance different here than it was when we were first starting today? I invite you to cross the right leg over, left leg over, right leg, and walk all the way to the top of your mat. Feet close together, not quite touching. Just take a second here. Try to create in your mind a vision of a number 7, going straight and then down. Maybe it looks like this. Maybe your hands are touching the mat. Maybe your hands are on your shins. Maybe your hands are on your thighs. The most important part is, again, you want to try to have your shoulder blades tucked together, touching, kissing. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, forward fold. And just rock a little bit back and forth. How do the feet feel here? Notice when the feet are closer together, how does that affect your ability to distribute weight and balance in a different way than when they're further apart? What different leg muscles and torso muscles and upper body muscles are you relying on when they're closer together as opposed to when they're further apart? Exhale. Inhale, grounding through the feet. Hands all the way up. And exhale. back to mountain. Woo! Take a second, adjust your pants, adjust your shorts, adjust your top. And just like we did last time, let's rock back and forth. How does it feel different? Are one side of your legs looser? Are you feeling maybe a little bit tighter, depending on how you stretched? Is it easier to rock forward? Easier to rock backward? Just find your breath here. I'm going to stop talking so you can take 10 breaths at your own pace. And when you're ready, let's return to the front of the mat. Next time that you inhale, bring that left foot up. Finding your balance. Maybe play with it a few times. It's okay if you have some false starts. Inhale. Try and keep that lower back and spine as straight as possible. 3, 2, 1. And when you're ready, you can use your left hand if you need to position your leg in tree pose. Again, absolutely fine if you have some false starts. Remember, you can position it on your calf, knee, thigh. And when you're feeling comfortable, inhale the arms up into prayer, trying to keep that left hip this time as open as possible, feeling that beautiful stretch all the way through the middle of the body. And exhaling the arms down into prayer at the chest. Let's inhale the leg forward. And bringing the arms out. This is sometimes in class, as a student, this is a pose that I sincerely dislike, so I completely understand if you'd rather not do it, and you can meet us in Warrior 1. But I encourage you, give it a shot. I feel very unsteady. But all that matters is that you try. So bringing the arms straight out in front of you as much as you can. Try to raise that back leg. Really feel the stretch in your left glute. And try to bring that heel to the ceiling. There's a Grace Jones album cover where she's doing something very similar to this. I forget what it's called, but I think she's on roller skates. And I always was really impressed that she was able to do this on roller skates. Love Grace Jones, by the way. All right. And lowering softly that left back foot. Inhale the arms up into Warrior 1. Keeping the torso facing straight. Feeling this center section of the body pulling over. Face in front of you. Try not to face to the left. Natural tendency here might be to feel like you want your torso or your front body to follow the back left leg, but you actually want to try to get it to follow the front right leg. And exhale into Warrior 2. Finding that center so you're not off with one arm above the other. Finding that peaceful center. speaking of peaceful, inhale back to peaceful warrior, maintaining that stretch. Right arm over right ear. And exhale, cartwheeling the hands down. Come into a stretch, just like we did on the other side. Plant those fingertips. Inhale the chest forward. If you want a deeper stretch, you can try to scoot the left knee back a little bit. And put the foot flat on the floor, the back left foot. Open chest, leaning forward. Exhale. Bringing the forehead to the knee. Inhale up. Exhale back. Try to straighten that front leg if you can. Bring the toes towards the face. And when you're ready, let's raise that back left knee. Bring the right leg back into plank. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Lower down. And this time, if you feel a little bit looser, if you'd like to go further than Cobra, feel free to push up to upward facing dog. And exhale. Back to down dog. Pedal it out. Stretch a little bit if you're not feeling completely loose. And on the next inhale, let's bring the left foot up. And try to touch the left heel to the glute. Exhale that left leg up. Inhale. Got my inhales and exhales screwed up there. Into three-legged dog. Exhale. Touch left knee to left shoulder. Inhale up. Left knee to right elbow. Inhale up. And on this fourth one, bring the left leg through. And here you can come into high lunge. Inhaling the arms up. If you feel a little bit looser, feel free to kiss that right knee to the mat. Keeping everything engaged. And bringing that right foot flat. This time, twist over to the left, bringing that right elbow on the outside of the left knee. And if possible, let's try to reach back and grab that right foot. Trying to keep the spine as straight as possible, like we did on the other side. Inhale and exhale a little bit deeper into the stretch. Remembering to keep that scissor effect nice and tight and sturdy in the thighs. Making sure that the left foot is firmly planted and the knee is straight, stacked right over the ankle. Looking over that left shoulder towards the back of the room. Let's hold for 3, 2, 1. And that one took me for a loop. And let's try to stretch it out a little bit more, inhaling up and bringing the left leg underneath for another tabletop. You know what? that was quite the stretch. Let's open the knees, push back again for another child's pose. Finding what feels good here for your lower back. If you want to give your forehead, another one of those beautiful massages, those beautifully engaging massages, please do. Let it stimulate, open up your consciousness. And deep breath in, exhale. Deep breath in, exhale. And let's inhale. Back to tabletop. This is where we were going before, but now we're ready. We weren't quite ready before. We needed a little bit of a rest. We're going to go through 5 more cat cows at your own pace. And 1. And come to a nice flat back, crown of the head facing straight forward. If you're still not on 5, take your time. And just like we did on the other side, we're going to scoot right hand in just a little bit so that we feel balanced. Elbow facing outwards, bicep facing outwards, clawing through the fingertips. And on our inhale, we're going to lift the left arm and right leg and bring it in to maximize the relationship between the elbow, knee, and core. Inhale up. Exhale in. Inhale up. Exhale in. Inhale up. Exhale in. One more. Inhale. Exhale. What did you need to do there to make sure that you felt balanced and comfortable? What did you need to do to make sure you felt secure? I want you to think about that, and then at your own pace, try 5 more of those. Okay? It's okay if you wobble a little bit. It's okay if you sort of wiggle around. Just own it. Turn it into a groove. Turn it into your own personal groove. Let's go. Inhale. Hold. Exhale in. And whew. So while you're thinking about that, while you're thinking about what you needed to be balanced, let's tuck the toes under. Inhale the hips up, coming to tiptoes, lowering the feet as much as possible. As long as the balls of the feet and the toes are on the mat, we're good to go. And this time, I invite you to walk cross-legged like we did last time, step or jump to the front of the mat. I did kind of like a weird crawl there. All right, let's meet here in flat back. Oh, I'm a little too close to the famous nook again. Again, if you have your hands on the mat, fingertips, ankles, shins, or thighs, Just try to create that number 7, a nice flat back from skull to tailbone. Inhale and exhale. Forward fold. Really draping over those knees. And just take a second here. When you're ready, inhale, grounding the feet. Palms up overhead, touching. Exhale to mountain. Woo! How we feeling? Take a minute, stretch out those legs. And then let's come back to the middle of the mat. So twice already we rocked forward and we rocked back. And I asked you to think about what was different each time in terms of how your balance felt, in terms of what you needed to do to cultivate that sense of balance. I love the word cultivate. It's such a beautiful word. The idea that we, again, have a beautiful engagement or an agency to create our paths as long as we follow our duties or dharma. It's a really empowering idea. All right, so grounding through the feet. Let's inhale, arms out into chair pose. Trying to sink down as much as possible. Now on your exhale, stay where you are with your legs. Bring your arms back, trying to engage those shoulder blades, having them kiss together. Palms facing the floor, the mat. And bring your gaze straight down so you feel a nice looseness, a nice straightening of the neck. Take a deep breath. And when you're ready, let's exhale and come up on the tiptoes. What do you have to do here to make sure that not all of the pressure is put on your toes? What do you have to do to find full body balance, or as much full body balance as possible? Steady your breath. Keep those arms engaged. It's okay if they start feeling a little bit tired. That's exactly what you want. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Back, heels down into chair pose, Uttanasana. And inhale up to straighten the legs. Exhale. Palms together at the chest. Spread the feet. Just about as wide as the yoga mat. And let's sink down as comfortably as you can into a yoga squat. If you can't, if this is a little bit too much for the knees, the thighs, the lower back, try your best to just sit comfortably. You can put the legs out, you can sit cross-legged, but just take a minute and let everything that we've done so far wash over you. So your next exhale, let's bring the right arm behind, the left arm behind, and then slowly lower, positioning our feet at the front of the mat. And here, if you have a blanket nearby or a block, it's not absolutely necessary, but it's definitely going to be helpful if you struggle a little bit in poses like shoulder stand, like I do. Having a little bit of elevation in the shoulders is going to be able to help you balance your legs and your feet up. So if you do have your blanket or your towel, go ahead, and put it at the top of your mat or near the top where your shoulders will fall. That's going to be a little bit different for everybody, of course. I'll make sure I'm in the frame. And if you'd like to, you can definitely start here in cloud pose. That's where we're going now. If you would rather go straight into shoulder stand, you can do that as well. So let's lean back, meeting our towel or our blanket right underneath our shoulder blades, feet out, palms flat on the floor. Let's just bring one leg up, flex forward, bring knee to stomach, chest. Keeping that one up, let's bring the other leg to match it. And with an inhale, I always like to inhale up, and if you can get your feet to touch up behind you, you'll feel a nice stretch in the back and the legs as well. Just make sure you're not putting too much pressure on your neck, because we definitely want to make sure that we avoid injuries at all costs. You'll have hopefully you have a fuzzy assistant nearby to help with any medical issues, but if not, you want to protect at all costs. All right, when you're feeling good, inhale. Bring the feet straight up in the air for a beautiful inversion. And here, the biceps, the outside of the biceps on your blanket or towel can help you steady your arms so that when your palms are supporting your lower back, you feel nice and elevated, as if you're making a beautiful straight line from your chest all the way through your toes up to the skies. Try to engage your core here. Try to engage your thighs, your calves, and we can flex the toes a little bit and then point them back straight up. And hold for 5, 4, finding as natural a breath as possible. 3, 2, 1. And how softly can you lower down? Roll just like it is, but instead of having it underneath your shoulders like this, try it under your spine. And just gonna come to Shavasana at your own pace. If the blanket or towel doesn't feel good underneath, please by all means remove it. I feel very open right now, very vulnerable. So I like to have my hands in a mudra of vulnerability, of receptivity, straight up to the skies. And of course, I have my fuzzy assistant to keep me warm. But if there's a blanket that you'd like to pull on top, some socks, some extra, an extra sweatshirt or something, whatever you have to do to make yourself feel more comfortable, let's take this time and own it and make it everything it can be for you.
And when you're ready, take a deep breath in. Let it fill up every inch of your chest and your stomach. And exhale out. Bring your attention back to the room, the light, the shadows. Wiggle your toes as you feel the quality of air. Is it cold? Is it warm? What are you hearing? Bring your attention back to the sounds. Is there a taste in the air? How is your heart beating? How does it feel when it reminds you that it's inside of your chest? One more deep breath in. You can move your blanket or towel out of the way and just come to a nice fetal position on one side, whichever side you prefer. And when you're ready, just push yourself up. And you can come to a cross-legged position or here on your knees. I wanted to share another reading with you before we close. One of the most influential books for me on spirituality is called Buddha's Book of Stress Reduction, Finding Serenity and Peace with Mindfulness Meditation by Joseph Emmett. And there's a beautiful section on balance and equanimity that I thought would be perfect to share. This comes from the beginning of chapter 15, page 193 in the book. In the Flower Garland Sutra, the Buddha describes the universe as one single flower. The earth is a flower, and each being on earth is also a flower. This view contrasts sharply with the business view of people as labor. Humans experience stress when they are seen and treated without consideration and respect. Respect not only for our rights, but also for our nature. We have both our flower nature and the ability to work effectively inside us. We are both labor and flower. It's clear that a balance is needed between these two ways of looking at humans, of looking at ourselves. We must find that balance within. When we find it inside, it will be easier to search for it outside. To me, this is one of the most effective arguments for yoga as a political philosophy. So much of my work looks at how we can adopt yoga philosophy principles, practice into contentious political spaces like museums and education classrooms, like I was saying earlier, but also in how we relate to people on the streets. And if there's one thing that we know from 2020, it's that we're pretty much more fractured from a sociological point of view than almost any other time in United States history, and one could argue global history. So as we look for that balance between labor and flowers, as Joseph Emmett said, I want to invite you to consider that as we meditate. Excuse me. Nellie was sleeping on the meditation. But I really love this beautiful meditation. I've shared it before, but it was given to me by Hari Kirtana Das, one of my yoga philosophy teachers, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity to share it with you, and thankful to him for passing it along. So finding a comfortable seat, center your breath at a pace in which you feel comfortable. Finding the space around you. Feel the space that surrounds your body and lightly kisses it, curving over your every inch. Feel how your body displaces the space that surrounds it also. Feel the sensation of air and cloth in contact with your skin. And pull your awareness through your skin into your muscles. Feel the strength of your body. Notice the buzz of your nervous system, the rush of your circulatory system. And pull awareness deeper into your body, feeling it inside your organs. Feel how your body rests on your skeleton and how your skeleton supports the integrity of that body. Notice where the energy in your body is flowing freely and feeling very vibrant. But also notice where the energy in your body is still and quiet. Take note of the thoughts that have been occupying your mind as of late and the feelings associated with those thoughts. And just look at them from a distance, just recognizing them, observing them, as if watching them from a movie screen. Notice your sense of perception, your ability to see and understand what you see. Take note of the level of joy you're experiencing in this place, at this time, simply by virtue of being, irrespective of any external circumstances. Take note of the distinction between all that you observe and yourself, the observer. Note the individual self you are and the universal self which you can become. Notice the difference between all that you are conscious of and yourself, the person who is conscious. Inhale and slow exhale outwards. Inhale one more time as we bring the palms to the third eye in prayer. Thank you so much for providing a space to share these ideas. I wish I was able to interact with you directly. I wish we were able to talk about them right now, as the world needs these conversations and the world needs yoga. And let's exhale together, bowing the head. Namaste.